Hey everyone, at the Bad Bolt Bunkhouse, it's your boy, Billy, checking in. Seeing that the days are getting shorter and the crowds are coming by the droves from further and further away. It can only be that time of year where we all hunker down and share last attempts at having the right temps. At least we hope. Only to relish in its moments and its absurdities and the stories that come from climbing. For most of us, that's down in Red River Gorge, Kentucky. I know I consider myself a resident, at least on many occasions. It's kind of strange not being down there this year. Miss you all. I'm out in the Sierras in light of my situation. It's amazing what you can learn here out in the mountains, and living nomadically. Anyways, I'm making this video, so I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving and the leftovers have made themselves into new recipes. I know I'll be frying some plantain in honor of our pasta monster, as I find it appropriate to raise my glass. Ramen. In the case of this spondonical nomination, I may have been at fault piecing together some of the appropriate criteria, but regardless, worthy nomination, if not for the sake of entertainment. The event that inspired the quotation in some way or another may have been the event itself. As the time, Danny Berg and I went to Spearfish Canyon and witnessed a full-on tornado at the crag.
I've never seen anything like it.
So there we were, Spearfish Canyon, at the Mohican Wall, in all its alluring limestone, cryptic sequencing, and hidden pocket maneuvers. Definitely on-site and at its finest. It's Danny, myself, and one other whom we had befriended while climbing in the Needles. It wasn't until we started seeing clouds to the far north that we started to become suspicious. Majority became in favor of getting out before the rain hit, not have to deal with the rain at all. I honestly didn't think much of it at the time. There's still like enough clear skies. I was just getting warmed up. Call it selfish, I don't know. But sometimes you gotta fill that base, you know. You gotta be able to gauge your next day of climbing. You gotta do one more. So without hesitation, I got myself in the position with the right amount of urgency that could merit one more climb. This is when Danny chimed in and started to give me a hard time, as he usually does. You're on belay. Do whatever you want. Just as long as you do whatever you want. You're on belay. Classic Danny right there. Always giving you your space, but letting you know he's right there with you. If it wasn't for Danny's leading role in advocating a do whatever you want attitude, we may have seen a different turn of events. Because in the peak of the moment, when things get real, you have to go with your instinct. That means even in a tornado. It isn't until I'm nearing the last 3 or 4 bolts or something that this mega something decides to reel its ugly head over the hill. Brain is beginning to look eminent at this point. The climb is taking a challenge. Wind is picking up. Air pressure's doing its thing. Everything past my view holds just screams exposure. It's the last real section of rock, and I'm psyching out. Danny's yelling at me, come on, we gotta go, telling me to hurry up. For every hand movement, it's like 3 to 4 foot placements, and every time you're just hoping the hold's better than it looks. Right as I'm nearing the anchors, I go indirect, yell down, I'm gonna clean it. Once I untie, rain picks up, everything picks up. Just trying to clean the anchors as fast as possible. Rain quickly turns to hail, just bouncing everywhere. You can hear it hit the rocks, just a torrential downpour of ice, just tampering. I immediately switch into survival mode, get as close to the wall, covering my head. I remember thinking back to a critical moment where I had consciously decided not to wear my helmet. There must have been some kind of covering from overhead, but I didn't dare look up. It was close enough. Danny's yelling at me, dodging golf ball size hail at this point. I'm yelling back at Danny. The wind is coming from all directions. Visibility is like a blizzard. You can only make out faint shadows from a distance. You're just in your little like bubble. Then like a switch gets flipped and everything goes to hyper speed. Everything just becomes like suspended in this train wreck sound that just fills in massive air quantities. It is how I would describe it. Like a train, I guess. Like what everyone says who's been in a tornado. Pretty surreal. That is fucking crazy.
That's insane, dude.
5 trees hit that fucking lady's house, dude.
Wow.
5 trees hit one house.
Billy Lane.
Billy Lane. Get out of here.
It's not my fault.
Oh, look at that, dude.
Oh, look at this house. I wonder if
That
that's
house
it.
has trees on it. Look at, they're just snapped in half, man. Not even knocked over.
No. Look at
Snapped in half. Holy shit.
Power lines. This is like a disaster.
This is bad. This is a tornado.
This is
man.
yeah.
This is too big. This is too big for a microbush. Look at that.
Shit. Oh man. We'll find out what he wants us to do. Hold up here.
Okay. It's locked or it's closed. It's closed.
Okay. Thank you.
In the peak of the moment, going back and forth, yelling, looking for a visual, trying to go back on belay. I mean, there's just no way. I witnessed a tree fall within line of the base of those climbs on that wall. I mean, maybe not more than 10 feet from where they were standing. And there were trees everywhere. The real clincher at the end was, once it all died down, taking into account the aftermath, what had happened was the tree falling, how bizarre. I mean, none of us had ever experienced anything like that before. It didn't occur to us until on our way out that the whole hillside had fallen over, all the trees. Almost every single one was just snapped, just playing down. The playing field just Our side was pretty bad, but the other side was just completely decimated. Like, quarter-mile radius, just all wiped out. Like the stack of playing cards. We realized that if we had been hiking down while that had happened, it would have been a lot worse than being up there on that cliff, tied in, anchored in, something to hold on to, than being out in the debris field, which came close enough. Now, after all that, hanging out at the anchors the whole time, I didn't get to clean my drawers that day. Denny had lowered me all the way. It was as if he did what he wanted that time. As my first response, I was like, dude, what the fuck? I remember being pissed off about that, but I could see once I got down that we all had experienced a major event. I guess we all kind of had a mini panic. Became clear that we had to get out of there as quick as possible. Just freaking nature. Shit. In light of the story, I nominate Danny Berg for his leading role in advocating a do-whatever-you-want attitude, even in a tornado. It applies to the outcome of life and its deliberate indecency to interfere. Do-whatever-you-want attitude can liberate your situation, depending on your outlook, even if you happen to be in a tornado.